Donna, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, just want to do a sound check real quick.
Okay.
Okay, we are live. Linda, can you still hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Joey, you can hear okay?
Yep, I got you.
Good. Hey, Linda, can you bring your audio back up again for just a second?
Okay.
That's weird.
You've got some background noise, it sounds like. I'm not sure what, if it was air or something. Or you did, maybe it's gone away now.
How about now?
Are you moving something? Because I can still hear something, either brushing your microphone or it just sounds weird. I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm sitting still. How about now?
Yeah, every once in a while I can hear you kind of, it just makes like a background fuzzy sound. Just keep your mic muted most of the time, unless when you're speaking. Should work. I'm going to do the same thing myself. In fact, we should all do that. So,
Okay.
all right. Hey, Nicole, can you hear me
Hi,
okay?
Greg. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound good.
Awesome. Fantastic.
I think we're good to go as soon as we get Cal on the phone. Uh, Cal and Brian, can you hear me okay? Good. All right. Brian, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fantastic. Can you hear me? Greg?
Sorry. Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry.
Didn't mean to panic you. I was on mute that time.
All right. Thanks, sir.
No problem. We're all good.
Okay.
Greetings, Dr. Langdon. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Mr. Cox, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, good. We are live.
Okay, thank you.
Who's this? Oh, there we go. Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith, can you hear me okay? You're muted. Let's see. There we go. Can you hear me okay now?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
sure. Dr. Langdon, can you hear me okay? Okay, and let's see. Mr. Collins, you can hear me okay?
Yes, sir, I can. Thank you.
I think everybody here can hear, and we are live. Okay, I think our last two are joining us now.
Okay.
Dr. Rogers is joining us now, I believe.
So we have all of the board members. We have our superintendent. Okay, and we have all of the folks watching at home. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I hope you're all doing very well. We are going to call the meeting to order. And Ms. Kazakos, will you please call roll?
Yes, Emily Langdon.
Sorry, present.
Miguel Lopez.
Here.
Shane Smith.
Present.
Adam Cox.
Here.
And Jessica Kazakis. I am here as well.
Thank you. Okay, my apologies. Please give me just a second here. Okay, in closed session, the board took action unanimously to issue a notice of final release and reassignment to 2 learning directors on special assignment pursuant to Education Code 44951, effective at the end of the 2019-2020 school year, and directed the superintendent or designee to send out an appropriate legal notice. And as I mentioned, that was a unanimous vote of the board. Okay, we're going to move now to the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Kazakos, will you please lead us in the pledge?
I'd be happy to. Thank you. If you'll all please stand. Thank you. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. All right. For public speaking information, we have not received any comments up until the deadline, and we have not received any afterwards. Is that still correct, Ms. Berman or Mr. Horda?
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you. And if you would like to comment, make comment to the board, please visit the website. There are directions there for you to leave voicemail or send an email. We're going to move now to items of interest. Board members and district administrators may report on activities such as school visits, meetings, and conferences. Dr. Smith.
Thank you, President Cox. So like everybody, my movements are restricted, but I did get a chance last week to go visit the meal drop-off team at Rivera and at Stephanie. And I enjoyed seeing everybody working very hard. And I'm glad that we were able to change our pickup time to earlier in the day to keep our staff and our teachers safer from the heat. And I do want to thank Principal Herr from Stephanie for giving me a very cool rainbow face cloth that I now wear every time I have to go into my office. I wish I had it with me to show everybody at home. So thank you again, and I hope our team just continues to be safe, and thank you for doing a good job for us.
Thank you. Dr. Langdon.
I have had no visits. I am staying home. I even missed there was a fabulous parade to celebrate Teacher Appreciation Day that we were invited to, and I was unable to attend. So I have nothing to report. That makes me sad, and I look forward to being able to visit schools again soon.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez.
Nothing to report.
And Ms. Kazakos.
Thank you. I have not made any school site visits, obviously, either, but in my parent capacity, I have been able to pick up lunches from our home school, which is Fremont, and continue to be very impressed with the kindness and respectfulness and the sense of pride and joy that everyone's had in distributing meals, and absolutely appreciate all of our staff members who are still working so hard to get meals out to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Rogers.
Thank you, President Cox. Starting off with distance learning, since May 4th, our teachers have been delivering lessons through our distance learning program, and we have distributed more than 6,000 devices to help keep our students connected, giving them access to that distance learning program. On to Teacher Appreciation Week, our teachers deserve a round of applause. Last week was Teacher Appreciation Week, and our dedicated teachers have taken on the challenge of distance learning and are working tirelessly to support continued student learning. I want to thank Principal Anthony Arista, Assistant Principal Daryl Cherf, and Learning Director Terry Pevsner at Tenaya Middle School. They organized a staff drive-through lunch to recognize teachers for all their hard work. Up to 50 staff members were able to enjoy barbecue, paid for grilled package, and handed out by Tenaya's administrators. Thanks also to Principal Michelle Colburn at Muir Elementary, who made breakfast for her teachers. Ms. Colburn organized a drive-through and handed out breakfast burritos, thank you cards, Starbucks gift cards, and Starbucks travel coffee cups. Stoll Elementary School Principal Dr. Delinda Sage and Learning Director Richard Alvarado delivered personalized yard signs to each of their teachers' homes. The Fremont Parent Teacher Club treated their teachers to a lunch by sending them Panera gift cards. Other principals honored teachers by mailing small gifts and thank you cards to their teachers' homes. And I also want to congratulate the Chenoweth PTC for organizing a staff appreciation parade on May 8th. Chenoweth staff lined up alongside the school parking lot, spaced apart for social distancing, and wearing masks as families drove through the parking lot, displaying signs, waving and cheering on all staff members. And you may have seen that in the news or on in the paper. To our meals program, we continue to serve an average of 13,000 meals daily. The pickup schedule has been modified so that our families and staff do not have to be outdoors in the afternoon heat. We now serve from 8:30 to 11:30, and this schedule will remain in effect through June 5th, with one exception. We will be closed Memorial Day, May 25th, but we will serve on the following day. And lastly, no shots, no school. Despite the stay-at-home order, the state is still requiring vaccinations to attend school. Children will not be enrolled for the new school year unless an immunization record is presented and immunizations are up to date. Children who still need vaccinations should schedule an appointment as soon as their providers are available. And the district sent a reminder to all parents on May 6th. We can visit shotsforschool.org for more information or call us. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers. You've now gone and piqued my interest. And do you know off the top of your head, I seem to think that our unvaccinated population in our district is like in the low double digits. Does that sound right to you? How many non-compliant students or families we have? It's not a huge number, right?
It is not a huge number. I don't have the exact number, but I will ensure that we get that to you shortly.
I'm less interested in the number than in how we can help provide immunizations to those families, assuming that they are not, personal belief exemptions. If there are other reasons, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We are going to move on now. I apologize. I have only a single window to work with here. We're going to go to written communications. Dr. Rogers, are there any?
No written communications at this time.
Thank you. We are at the public comment period, and just to reiterate again, Mr. Horta or Ms. Berman, I'm not sure who, but just to reiterate or reconfirm that there are no public comments that we have received up until now. Perfect. Okay, we are at the consent calendar. What's the board's pleasure?
Move to approve the
moved.
consent calendar.
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Smith and Dr. Langdon. Thank you very much. Ms. Kazar, I'm sorry, hold on. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, we'll call the roll call vote. Dr. Smith?
Aye.
Dr. Langdon?
Aye.
Mr. Lopez?
Aye.
Ms. Kazakos?
Aye.
I am aye as well. That motion is carried. Thank you. We're going to go now to Section 8, Board Action Superintendent. 8A is District Committees. Dr. Rogers.
Thank you. Under district committees, there are a lot of items that the board has expressed a lot of interest in terms of being engaged, and as representatives of the community at large, it becomes important that they be part of that process and create, in some cases, formal standing committees consistent with the board bylaws, and in some cases they are pro tem ad hoc committees that are well, just as it says, just temporarily focused on specific items or deliverables. There are 5, I think, committees that the board has expressed a strong level of interest in at this time. And I'll start with the formal item, which would be a budget committee. And Board President, you're in a position to lead that discussion on the appointment of trustees to that committee, and then staff will work with those appointed members to facilitate that committee.
Okay, thank you. And because the budget committee, Dr. Rogers, would be a standing committee, it is going to be open to the open meeting laws or subject to the open meeting laws, regardless of the number of board members that sit. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So just so that everyone can keep that in mind when it comes time to appointing. We've all come to, as Dr. Rogers said, we've all come to the agreement already that the budget committee is one that we're interested in having. So I guess what I'd like to accomplish right now is getting volunteers and making that appointment. And what we'll probably do is ask our staff to create a list as we go through and just do one vote at the end, just one slate and one vote. Okay. Yes, Dr. Langdon.
Could we get all the committees first? Dr. Rogers suggested that there might be 5 committees.
Mm-hmm.
Can we hear all 5 of those? I wasn't sure what the short list was.
Absolutely. Okay. We have, as we mentioned, the budget committee. Next, we have the safety committee. There is a health and wellness committee, and there is a facilities committee. And let's see, there is also, it's a joint powers agreement that East Merced, and I've got to look up the rest of the name there, folks. But it's a
Public Facilities Financing Authority or something.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And okay, and so for the board, I had asked Dr. Rogers to add these all in, as well as the MCSBA, since we're talking about board representatives and committees. Ironic, Dr. Langdon, but there's no hidden messages. I just asked Dr. Rogers to do that so that we can kind of take care of all of this in one swoop as we're talking about board representatives and or board committees or subcommittees. Obviously, the Safety Committee and the Health Committee are two committees that already exist, composed primarily of staff. The board has expressed desires to have a representative on those. The others, budget and facilities, would be composed of board members. So is everyone all kind of on the same page? Dr. Langdon, you heard all the
Thank you.
committees.
Yes, that's
Perfect.
helpful. Thank you.
President Cox, if I could just jump in.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little surprised to hear that is the thought that we might change the membership on the East Merced County Public Facilities Authority at this time, or just point of information that that's another body where we staff board members?
My apologies. No, the intent was not to change. The intent was really to memorialize,
Okay.
so that we're voting on everything. To comfort Dr. Langdon as well, I wasn't looking to change anything on that committee or MCSBA.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Dr. Smith, I know you must have questions or comments on anything else. No? Or do we have no discussion?
I think the budget committee is terribly important. I don't have to repeat what I've said, but I mean, this is where the rubber meets the road in terms of the board's priorities being aligned with where we spend our children's money. I would like to see a rotating membership. I think it's going to be a huge job. So not trying to cap anybody who's super interested, but in my mind, I kind of see this as like a 1-year term, and then get a fresh line change out on the ice kind of thing. Having said that, I would prefer not to be on it this first time around. I would encourage Dr. Langdon to consider throwing her hat in. I know she's had a tremendous focus on exactly what I've just been talking about, where the rubber meets the road. And I think her leadership would be tremendously valuable on our first budget committee.
So are we not nominating ourselves? We're nominating other people?
I'm not asking for an invitation. I think you'd be great, Dr. Langdon.
All right. And I thank you, Dr. Smith. Is that all?
Yeah, that's all for now.
Perfect. Thank you. I have a very strong desire to be on the budget committee, something that I've looked forward to for many years. So I would be happy to fill a second seat. I don't know from Mr. Lopez or Ms. Kazakos if there's any interest from either of you for a budget committee this year. For your participation, rather, on the budget committee this year.
I think since there's already two of you, I'm happy to serve in another committee, but happy to join the budget committee at another time. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Well, I can. I'd be happy to join it for the time being. So.
Okay, Mr. Lopez, thank you. Okay, so it looks like we'll have a budget committee of Dr. Langdon and Mr. Lopez and myself. As stated before, I'll make the nomination that our representatives to MCSBA and the East Merced Public Facilities Financing Authority remain the same with their incumbents.
Can I just ask?
Yes, sir.
Can we really have a quorum of the board be on a subcommittee? And do we want that? I guess those are two separate questions. If the three of you can make a decision that will stand as a majority, even when brought back to the 5-member board, I'm not sure that that's a subcommittee. That's the board acting in a special capacity, right? I think we probably need to drop that back to 2 board members.
Okay.
Dr. Rogers or somebody else have a different understanding?
No, I think that's actually that's correct. Even though the subcommittee would be in advisory capacity, and we would still have to bring items back to the board for the full board for ratification and discussion, but having a quorum act with senior members of cabinet would probably defeat the purpose of a subcommittee.
Yeah, so I think just, in the interest of transparency and not having our counsel on the line, I think we probably want to stick with a less than a quorum for our liaisons or our subcommittees. And if it turns out that council gives us a different answer, then I guess we can talk about it at our next meeting.
We'll follow up on that, Dr. Smith.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. So colleagues, I hate to push it into some kind of election here. I think we've got 3 fantastic candidates, and all of you could serve ably on the budget committee. I think we probably need to decide who are the 2 amongst the 3 people who have thrown their hat in or had their hat thrown in that we want to have on the budget committee.
And if I can add, I'd be willing to retract my my name, I guess, in the committee list at this point. So I would, I would definitely be in favor of Adam and Emily serving or being the 2 that we select right now.
And I could follow Mr. Lopez's lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Okay, so that's clear so far. Moving on, let's tackle the safety committee. Are there any volunteers? I know I have an idea. Perfect, Ms. Kazakos. Yes, is that a?
Yes, please.
Perfect.
I was going to say, don't make me nominate you.
you were my thought as well, Ms. Kazakos. So we will mark that down. The health committee. Is there interest from the board on the district health committee, which I believe meets quarterly? Or maybe I'm wrong. Yes, there's a thumbs up.
If there's no interest in that, I'm happy to serve on that health committee as well.
Well, you know what, Ms. Kazakos, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That leaves us with the facilities committee. Is that right, Dr. Rogers, or is there another one?
That is correct.
That's it. Okay. We do have a de facto facilities committee. I know there's been discussion about it in the past, so let's hash it out.
How often does this committee meet?
So the facilities committee is not a formal committee, right? And how often it meets probably is hard to say. It's going to be at least once per month, but during, let's say, the development of a facilities master plan, it could be more frequent. At the very least once per month.
I'll jump in here. I think it makes sense for Adam and I to continue to serve on that committee. We both expressed an interest and made time, in some cases significant time, to be a part of facilities planning on behalf of the board. We're both into a process that's going on right now with an architectural firm to consider ways to refresh our master plan. And so I would just submit to everybody that this is, I think, the right moment to formalize President Cox and my role in that committee. And I think it dovetails as well with the work that Mr. Lopez and I are doing with the Community Resource District and the facilities money that hopefully will bring to our kids as well. So that would be my suggestion for consideration, that we ratify the de facto membership on the Facilities Committee.
All right, I don't see any other comments or questions, so I'm going to take Dr. Smith's nomination as a recommendation to record on our slate. Okay. Dr. Rogers, nothing else on this topic, right? Do we just need to appoint?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. So will Dr. Rogers, will you have someone please read back to us our names and our committee assignments, please?
I will. I'm going to call on Donna, and Donna, we're going to start with the safety committee. Again, just a quick review. That's an informal appointment. We won't be so much following the Brown Act, but the purpose of that is to ensure services, structures, and training for the safety of our students. And we need 1 to 2 trustees to participate at least once per month. Who do we have in terms of membership for that committee, Donna?
Ms. Kazakos.
Thank you. The next committee is the Health and Wellness Committee, HAWK for short. This is another advisory committee that meets monthly, and we run a series of support and support services ranging from medical, social, emotional, special education, nutritional services, even Medi-Cal billing. And this group would meet, I think normally we've seen quarterly. It can, under certain circumstances, meet monthly. Donna, who do we have for membership of that committee?
Ms. Kazakos as well.
Thank you. Next, we have the East Merced County Public Facilities Financing Authority. This is a JPA that has district representation, and their meeting schedule is unclear to me. I apologize for that, but it works in collaboration with 2 other school districts. And who do we have? I think what we did is we ratified our existing, we affirmed our existing trustee representatives. But Donna, who do you have on record for this this committee?
I have Mr. Lopez and Dr. Smith.
Thank you. Thank you. And next we have a formally appointed board subcommittee that will be governed by the Brown Act, the Budget Committee. And let's see, I think we adjusted our membership to 2 members. And the meeting routine on that ostensibly would be once per month. There could be some adjustment, but if so, we'll follow all the protocols and conventions that go with running formal subcommittees. Who are the members that we have listed for the budget subcommittee, please, Donna?
That is President Cox and Dr. Langdon.
Thank you. And lastly, but not least, we have the facilities committee. Again, not a formal committee. It will vary in terms of its schedule based on the work that it's asked to do, but it's keeping track of these events related to facilities. And we have, I think, 2 members there that we are affirming this evening. Donna, who do you have listed there, please?
President Cox and Dr. Smith.
Okay. Thank you. President Cox, I believe the last, maybe, it's not really as much a committee as it is an advisory group to help us keep track of these things. But the MCSBA team, we want to make sure that we don't get left out of those important events. Donna, who do we have as representatives to help us watch the MCSBA work?
Dr. Langdon.
Thank you very much. President Cox, I believe that completes the list of committees, subcommittees, and groups that we're going to be engaged with. Did I miss anything?
It sounds all good to me. I will ask of the board members, are there any last comments or questions before I ask for a motion to adopt that list?
So President Cox,
Yes, sir.
I think it goes without saying that I'm not going to argue for or press my request for a policy bylaw review subcommittee. I think that's absolutely important. I don't think that this is the right time, particularly with the budgetary uncertainties coming up. And that's potentially an involved process. I'd like to come back to that idea maybe middle part of next year.
Mhm. I agree with you, Dr. Smith. I kind of viewed this as our first foray. Make sure that we don't overload the staff, that we can kind of work things out. But I agree with you. If we could ask Dr. Rogers to make a little tickler reminder to come back, I don't know, 6 to 9 months, Dr. Smith.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
that would be good. Okay, I don't see any other. Oh yes, Dr. Langdon.
We talked about this, and it does not have to be a board driven or a board advised committee at all. But one of the things that came up in our last discussion was almost like a task force to do some assessment and understanding of our need to move quickly to remote learning, which has been a process and heroic efforts on many, many, many parts. And if that's not something that is involves the board, I would just like to reiterate that at some point we need to tease the learnings out of that and do the diligence there. And so I would hope that we would get a report from the staff to the board about what happened, what we did, what we would do differently, so that we do codify that. But I'm not saying it has to be a board task force. I just think that was part of this discussion, and I don't want that to fall apart.
I thank you for bringing that up. I agree with you too, and I think that that's probably one of the things that we might want to ask to have specifically have board member briefings, as we get those. So maybe it's not a committee or a task force something, but certainly something that warrants a nice in-depth briefing so that we can poke and ask questions, stuff like that. I think that's certainly appropriate.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, all in the spirit of learning from this. I mean,
Yeah,
we did what we had to do. Lots of people, everyone did their best. So I just think it's important that we, we're an educational environment. We need to be learners. So let's not just say, whew, that was crazy, and move back to what we've done before. So
yeah, exactly. No, and you've kind of urged me now, along with Dr. Smith. One of the things that I want to talk about in our next round is definitely something to focus on our special programs, our special academies, or whatever we're going to term them. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
So
okay.
I follow up on what
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Langdon just said, and you, President Cox. I don't want the board to step out of its lane, but Dr. Langdon has been involved in transitioning to distance learning at the UC, and I know that she's expressed an interest in this on multiple occasions. Is there there's a regular committee led by Dr. Rogers or Dr. Seaton or somebody, where maybe it would be appropriate for Dr. Langdon to sit in as sort of an ex officio member, in addition to getting some more regular briefings. I think that might be helpful without forcing staff to, create a whole nother structure to accommodate the board.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Dr. Seaton is you're quite right. She's running this program and liaising with staff, and I also want to say there's a robust partnership with our bargaining partners, NCTA and CSE. And I'm certain that there are a number of structures where Dr. Langdon can be engaged in. Given her expertise, she would find it, I think, very fascinating and probably some opportunity to contribute in a meaningful way. So we'd appreciate your collaboration there.
And that doesn't need to be something that I have a part of. I think that's something that the whole board should be. I mean, I don't want to, as much as I love to meet with district officers and learn what they're doing, to educate myself, I really feel like that's something I would rather have us all have that come to the board. I don't need to be involved in that. I feel like what I'm doing at a post-secondary level is very different than what, I mean, I have an 8th grader in my house trying to do distance learning, and I'm teaching a first-year seminar to college students, and they're an apple and a papaya. So I don't want to pretend like I'm an expert at this. I would love to hear what the district is learning about this as a board member with the rest of my colleagues on the board. But thank you, Dr. Smith, for your confidence in my abilities. My Spark students might disagree with you that I know what I'm doing on Zoom.
You know, in light of that, I think, you know, if it's not board member briefings, then certainly perhaps we ask for a board study session on the topic. All right.
That'd be great.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay, so I believe I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, ma'am. Second. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay. All those, oh, nope. I gotcha. We're going to do a roll call vote. All those in favor, or Dr. Smith, please let us know if you're in favor.
Aye.
Thank you. Dr. Langdon.
Aye.
Mr. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Kazakos.
Aye.
And I am aye as well. Thank you very much. That motion carried. And thank you all for that discussion. I feel very confident in this, so I hope Dr. Rogers does too. We are going to move to item 8B, resolution number S03 2019-2020 for Classified School Employees Week. Dr. Rogers.
Okay, thank you. Well, as you know, classified school employees are honored statewide for their contributions to the public schools, and California's legislature recognizes the important contributions of classified school employees and named the 3rd full week in May as Classified School Employee Week to honor these contributions. This proposed resolution declaring May 17th through 23rd, 2020 as Classified School Employees Week in Merced City School District is attached. All of you, I believe, have that information. This resolution will honor and draw attention to the many efficient, hardworking, and dedicated classified employees in our district who give of themselves every day for our young people and to help the district run more smoothly. So we are recommending that the board adopt resolution number S03 for 2019 through 2020, proclaiming May 17 through 23rd, 2020 as Classified School Employee Week.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez and Dr. Langdon. There's a motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments from the board? I'll just comment my heartfelt thanks to all of our employees, but we did at the last board meeting specifically recognize teachers. So tonight, I want to specifically recognize our classified staff and thank you for everything that you have done. And those of you showing up at work each day, an extra kudos. Thank you for keeping the district running. Are there any other questions or comments? Thank you, Dr. Smith. I love that. All right, I'm going to call the question. Dr. Smith.
Aye.
Thank you, Dr. Langdon.
Aye.
Mr. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Kazakos.
Aye.
Thank you, and I vote aye as well. That motion is carried. We're going to go down to fiscal services, item 9A, a resolution designating authorized agents of the Merced City School District for the California Governor's OES Public Assistance Grants. And is this Ms. Parker?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The district has filed a request for public assistance through the Governor's Office of Emergency Services for potential FEMA funding to help with costs associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. Though reimbursement is not guaranteed, the application may help offset costs such as disinfection of facilities, the purchase and distribution of consumable supplies, and communications to the public of health and safety information. This Cal OES Form 130, naming authorized agents for the district, is required to be filed prior to the issuance of any potential reimbursement. So with that, it is recommended that the Board of Education adopt resolution number F8, 2019-2020, designating Deputy Superintendent, Associate Superintendent, and Chief Fiscal Officer as the authorized agents to execute on behalf of the Merced City School District for the purpose of obtaining post-disaster public assistance grants from Cal OES and FEMA.
So moved.
I will second.
Thank you, Dr. Langdon and Dr. Smith. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, I will call the question then. Dr. Smith.
Aye.
Thank you, Dr. Langdon.
Aye.
Mr. Lopez.
Aye.
And Ms. Kazakos.
Aye.
I'm aye as well. That motion carries. All right, folks, that's the end of our action items. We are now at the events calendar review. And, quite unfortunately, there's not a whole lot on it. I do want to recognize and thank Dr. Rogers and the district office team and the site administrators, everyone working on the plan for recognizing the graduating 8th grade class. Thank you for doing what you can to give those students the recognition that they have earned. Are there any questions or comments on the events calendar? And I'm not seeing anyone, so we're going to move on to the governance calendar. I just wanted to let the board know that Dr. Rogers and I did recently have a conversation about the governance calendar. And I had expressed on behalf of the board my confidence that we were obviously going to be a little bit flexible, which I think that it was meant to be, but that for the time being, we might not be sticking to the monthly events in the governance calendar. And quite frankly, it might be something that we want to evaluate as the overall, as part of the overall superintendent's plan, moving forward. So just to let you know, that while we do have it posted because we did put that work into it, Dr. Rogers was seeking, some flexibility. And are there any comments or opposition to that? Perfect, thank you. Okay, and the next item is the board member roundtable. So I'll again start with Dr. Smith.
Thank you, President Cox. I think it's important to remind our teachers and our staff who are working that we think you're doing a great job. I have spoken to a couple of teachers through my daughter's school at Burbank and also, around town. I don't want people to feel like that they're working at home and trying to school their own kids, and that you don't have our deepest thanks and appreciation for the effort and the caring about your kids and what's really just a difficult situation for everybody. I don't want that to be lost, that the board and myself in particular really appreciate everything. And, let's keep doing what we're doing and come back next year stronger and better for the experience. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Dr. Langdon.
I was struck in the superintendent's report at the creativity and caring that was shared with all of the ways that district staff and colleagues have supported the teacher appreciation. And so I hope that that's enough. I mean, Dr. Smith's words, I echo that this is just really hard. And I believe that everyone is really doing our best So it's hard that this is, so many things are going down to COVID-19, including graduation ceremonies, and then the picnic that is usually a culmination of a long year, and it's a celebration. And so the classified staff appreciation week is just another thing that is people will have to get creative to celebrate that. So I just wish all the classified staff that we could do this differently. But I do hope that people know that everyone's efforts are really appreciated and acknowledged. And I just continue to say, we will get through this. I had a mantra. My mantra was make it to May, and we made it to May. And now my mantra is just until June. We can do this, team. So I just great effort on so many people's behalf. And I just, if you're home with kids, good luck to you. Thank you.
All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Langdon. Mr. Lopez.
Yes, President Cox. I just want to echo the same sentiments as Shane and Emily, but at the same time, I just want to highlight and I know that right now we have a lot of pressing matters with this current crisis, but at the same time, in light of recent national news, particularly surrounding Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia and whatnot, just to I just want to, I guess, continue that. The sentiment, at least, that that we try to maintain and continue to keep implicit bias in the forefront and equity as well. And at the same time, I had a very good conversation with Dr. Rogers today about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what staff can do in the future, I guess, as it relates to implicit bias.
Thank you, Ms. Kazakos.
Just, a lot of thank yous, just as my colleagues have already said, to all of our staff that are working. It's very difficult to be a distance learning teacher, as I have also so quickly found in my daytime job as a teacher, but also to be a teacher at home with your children. And I have some small children, which is very challenging. I can't just send kids off with their devices and come check on them later. And I know these are very challenging times. I know I can't be the only one struggling as a parent, as an educator, and as a member of the community. So we know that there are probably a lot of families and our staff members that are maybe struggling too. And we're here for you. We stand with you, and we are just can't wait till this is all over and done with, and that we're all safely reunited together in whatever our new normal is. So just be safe, and mental health. Take care of yourselves and take care of your families. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kazakos. Okay, a couple of things for me. First things first, since it's been mentioned a couple times in the last couple of minutes. Hey, Dr. Rogers, where can people listening at home, there's nearly 100 folks now listening at home, which is wonderful. Where can they find your report that we went over? Obviously, it's in board docs, but is that also posted on the board page or something?
It's not yet posted online, but we can go ahead and make a link to the section of the website. Yeah,
and just in case people are interested, we want them to be able to go through that, since we had a great study session about it. The next thing is, my apologies here. I again, just to echo everyone, wanted to thank you all for going to work every day, whether that's at home or at the office. Your efforts are very much appreciated. And I do believe that's it, unless there are any further comments. One thing I did, now that this is, I don't know what, our third or perhaps our fourth public Zoom meeting, I do want to thank and acknowledge all the folks that have been pretty consistently turning out to live stream the board meetings. I've been really impressed, and I'm not sure, I haven't figured out if it's a sign of the times that we're in, or if there has always been this interest and we are just now making the board more accessible. And so I just want to invite everyone who's watching from home. The board members' email addresses are on the website. I'd encourage you to go find my email address and please just, kind of shoot me a note and let me know what you like about the format. What is, please be constructive. What do you like? What can be improved? Things like that. Just, I'm really looking for some feedback, and I think the rest of the board is too, in this new era of forced streaming. So, how can we make it better, and how can we make the board meetings better? Because I'm really just so appreciative, genuinely appreciative of all these scores and scores of people that have been watching our board meetings. So, thank you all, and please, go find my email address and drop me a note on what we can do better. Is there anything else from the board?
If I could jump in, you jogged my memory. I think
Sure.
We as an institution, as a board, should really thank our partners at the city for allowing us to
very much
utilize their video conference system. It's this shared resources in a time of need, and very gracious in allowing us to use it. So thanks again to our friends at the city.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Smith, and so everyone does understand. I'm not sure that I had ever fully explained it, but the city of Merced is basically enabling the technology that is broadcasting our Zoom meeting live on the internet to live stream to YouTube. So thank you.
President Cox.
Oh, yes, Mr. Blount.
That is not the case these past two meetings.
All right. Well, greatly
appreciate the city allowing us. We do want to thank the city for the time they allowed us to do that. But the MCSD IT department has actually been streaming it internally the past two meetings.
Oh, well, okay. Thank you very much for letting us know.
Not to toot our own horn, but
no. I appreciate, give where it's due. Thank you to the city then very much for getting us started. Thank you to our IT department internally for carrying us the rest of the way.
Yeah. And Donna and I gave them a box of candy at the city for our thanks as well. Just Donna came up with that, and I said, "Yeah, that's good." So
very good. Thank you. Okay, if that's it, I would like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone. Be safe, be healthy, and we will see you in a few weeks. All right, the meeting is adjourned. Bye-bye.